those sizes have the same features. The only difference being that it goes to a larger size piano. And by that I mean they all have, of course, the same wet sandcast plate. We have our own foundry. I believe we make about 35,000 plates a year. Some of those are for us, and some of those are for other manufacturing companies, which I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So all the grand pianos have the duplex scaling. They all have full sostenuto pedal. All of our pianos have the beveled lids, thick inner and outer rims. So those are, when you go to a larger piano of those three models, then you're still getting the same features. All of these three models have what we call a meniscus soundboard, which is a very unique design. It's a spruce core with a very thin film of spruce on the top and the bottom, placed at a 15-degree angle. So technically we do have to call it laminated because it's more than one piece, but the way that it's designed is that the film on the top and the bottom is at 15 degrees so that the spruce maintains its flexibility. So it's like an extra protective cover if you want to pass that around. Our hammers are top quality German Wurzen-Weikert felt from Germany. And you can tell that it's the top quality when you look at the hammer by these specific lines that are in between the layers of felt. Mahogany hammer moldings.
Those zone lines you'll see in the first 8 or 10 base hammers, and those are just strictly cosmetic for identification purposes. They don't serve a tonal function in the hammer.
So these are the hammers you'll find in our 151, 161, 178, and all of the professional upright models, which start with a 48-inch. Pass that around. All of our action parts are made from European hornbeam. Nicely designed and well executed. Did you want to pull the action out, Keith, so they could see some of the features on the inside?
Yep, I think I have it already in the slide.
Our two larger sizes of pianos are the 198. We have one of those in our booth down in the exhibit hall, designed by Frank Emerson. I don't know where Frank is. Maybe he had another class. And then our larger size is the 218 centimeter, 7'2", designed by Stefan Polello, who's a European piano custom designer and maker. Now those two pianos have different features from the first three basic ones, the 5'4", and the 5'10". And some of those differences would be, for example, in these three sizes, the bridge is a solid block maple bridge. The 198, the 218, you get into a vertically laminated with a beach cap bridge. Our hammers are in these, and the 198, the 218, we have German oval hammers.
Also point out, if you didn't already say it, Lauren, the beach key buttons, you've got a beach shoe insert, and let me pull the action out a little bit further. If you gentlemen can look in, you'll see that we have in the back action, we've got cab stand adjustments, spoon adjustment for damper timing, and cab stand adjustment for pedal timing. So this is very service friendly, and one adjustment does not affect the other adjustment.
The hammer rail is serrated hard maple, and the back rail is, back here you can see it's aluminum with a maple core on the inside. So that's just a brief overview. If you want more detailed specifications, you can go to our website, and we have up-to-date specific specifications on there for you.
I think currently we're using a 17-ply pin block,
right.
But they are, we're in the process of looking at some changes that we think might make the pin block even better in terms of smooth tuning characteristics. everything, there's a lot of changes that happen, and it's sometimes difficult to keep up because they're constantly testing and experimenting. And they actually listen to what we have to say, which I have to say is the most refreshing thing in my 30-year career. And technicians are listened to.
You can go over and look at the
Yes.
HU5.
Can I ask a question about the soundboard?
Sure.
What did you call this?
Meniscus.
And
It's spruce.
the layering that you have on the edges were actually taken from this piece of wood, trimmed off and then just glued back on? Do you know?
I don't know.
Because
You know-
the grain matches up ridiculously well, so.
You know, this is done in mass production in this stage. So they cut that up so that the piece of wood comes in. They cut 2 layers off of it, you know, in big chunks, and then they cut those layers and then they glue them together.
They keep
So,
the pieces
they
together
keep-
that were originally together.
Most, you know, sometimes it's not, but yes, most likely, you know, the way they do it is the piece comes to the machine, and so the machine cuts it up in 2 slices, so it's in 3 parts, and then they cut them again, and then they glue them together.
Separate.
Yeah. So what I would say is, I wouldn't say that always it's the case, because sometimes, you know, it goes a foot difference,
Right.
but in general, it's the same piece, yes.
Right, you can see it.
Okay. You want to come over? Did you want to
I'm
point out
going to
something
throw,
about
yeah,
the cheek
so that I don't forget, thanks to Norm for reminding me about another feature on the grants. Let me just pass this to Steve Block around.
Yeah.
So that you can see the cab stand adjustment for the hold down feature, to hold the key pins down in the end of the key frame goes. It makes for a nice stable system. You've got a little roller there so that you don't have the friction, not the traditional friction at least. And it's all metal parts, and it's impossible for it to change because of the cab stand. Okay, thank you.
Okay. You want to come over here so you can see the basic structure?
Don't trip on the wires, please. I ain't picking you up.
So in our vertical lines, we start with the 45.5-inch 116, which is down in our in the exhibit hall. That's our institutional piano. And then from there we go to the 48-inch, the 50-inch, which is the HU5P. Then we have the HU6, 131 centimeters, designed by Frank Emerson, and the HU7, 133 centimeters, designed by another one of our designers, Mr. Zhang. So I'm going to talk about the features in the professional series, which starts with the 48-inch. The plate is a full perimeter plate. Again, we make the plates ourselves. All of these pianos, including the 116 downstairs, has the new addition of a cast aluminum key bed. I don't know if you want to come up so you can see it. We call this the PAS system, Permanent Action Stability.
Let me pull some keys out. It's easier to see.
Well, then we show keys. And you can see that it does go, it goes from the back all the way to the front.
Did you wash again? What, taking keys out? Yeah.
I don't know, is this exclusive to us, Cecilius? I don't know if other companies are doing it or not.
Well, there are no patents on it because it has been done in the past some time ago, but we're the only ones who are doing it right now with material, that is. But if you remember back in a couple of 50, 80 years ago, there was a heavy Chicago pianos that had also metal. You could look through them. I don't know if anyone has seen them. So the idea has been around, but we're the only ones that are doing it right now because the material has become much lighter and much more feasible to do it, yeah.
And this is a one-piece aluminum casting. So it solves a problem. Whether it was really a problem or not, we're not sure, but there was some question about whether there was any instability with the wooden key bed and the aluminum reinforcement as they were doing it at the factory. And I think maybe some of the things were inconclusive, but once again, they kind of jumped ahead and took it up a level and came up with this casting. that eliminates any concerns at all. This thing is stable, it's not going to change, assuming you don't have like a 80-degree temperature change.
Okay, you can see that there's, I'm sorry, your question?
And the aluminum does go underneath the front rail.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can see that there are A-graphs in the base. And then this is an interesting system that they've developed in the tenor and the treble. There's actually a bead or a bar that is placed into the casting on the plate. So there's a place on the plate which is recessed to put the stainless steel bar in here for cleaner termination. We went to a more aesthetically attractive bolt system, which uses the Allen wrench on the inside. See?
They're two different materials. See, I wasn't sure whether they changed that over or not.
Okay.
We did ask about why are these different colors? Well, it's a different mixture of metals. Up in here, there's more tin, so it's harder, and it gives a more brilliant sound. And this is brass. And here,
I think stainless steel at the top. But
Yeah.
the bottom line is it's harder in the treble, and that helps give more brightness to the tone where you
Right.
need it in this scale.
Is this your H1 has the graphs all the way up. Is this a change, are you changing that?
Yeah, the H1 now is designed like this.
Why did you move away from the graphs?
We felt this was an improvement,
Why?
better sound in the treble and easier tuning. Now, I don't know if they're still doing the A-graphs on the 121.
the 121 has
Still?
a full
Yeah.
A-graphs in it. Yeah.
It depends too on the designers. Some designers prefer A-graphs. There are certain advantages. They do keep the string spacing exactly where they were put at the factory. Some designers, I'm not an engineer, so I'm not qualified to speak. A-graphs are great if you're concerned about strings getting moved. You know how some technicians will stuff really fat temperament strips in and sometimes the string will ping over. From that perspective, A-graphs are neat, but I care about what's important for the best tone, the best projection of the musicality of the instrument.
Yeah.
While we're talking about say basically the termination of the wire, if you can all look down below, you'll see that we've also got a bearing wire right